The meeting of the Committee on Student Achievement and School Innovation of the Board of School Directors will please come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Director Carr has asked to be excused. Director Leonard?
Present.
Director O'Halloran?
Here.
Director Seamson has asked to be excused. Chair Gokul Gandhi?
Present.
That's 3 members present, and we also have Director Zambor who joined the meeting.
The Chair will now ask the Secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so, and asks those that do not wish to participate to please remain silent during the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being conducted in person from the Central Services Building. In order to allow as much public access and participation as possible, this meeting is also being broadcast via live stream on the MPS website and on the MPS YouTube stream, the links which may be found on the MPS website on the broadcast page. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799. Nuevamente, 312-626-6799. E introduzca el número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
For each of our items of business, we will
Buenas
hold...
tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si desea escuchar...
Okay. For each of our items of business, we will hold a discussion and public hearing. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker slip and bring it to our secretary, Ms. Koala. Virtual speakers are asked to remain on the platform until you are called upon. After speaking, virtual speakers may follow the rest of the meeting using the broadcast information previously mentioned. When you are called upon to speak, please state your name and spell your last name for the record. For the sake of fairness and to give everyone a chance to speak, the chair reserves the right to limit the length of time allowed to any one speaker. Written testimony will be accepted for transmittal to the board. Send this testimony to the Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53201, or fax to 414-475-8071, or email it to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order dictates that all comments should be directed to the chair of the committee. Also, any questions or requests, including those from the public committee members or the administration, are to be directed toward the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. For the safety of all and to ensure the good order of the meeting, harassment or intimidation tactics of any kind will not be tolerated. Anyone who engages in such harassing or intimidating words or actions will immediately be asked to cease. If such behavior continues, a recess will be called and the offending parties will be removed from the meeting. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. However, the individual will not be allowed to rejoin the meeting. No one other than members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees. Finally, for our listening audience, if you wish to access this evening's agenda items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the meetings, agendas, and minutes page of the MPS website. Now let's begin. Madam Secretary, item 1.
Item 1 is action on a recommendation to approve the renewal of the instrumentality charter school contract for Academia de Lenguaje y Bellas Artes Incorporated for Academia de Lenguaje y Bellas Artes ALBA. The recommendation is that the board, 1, approve the renewal of a 5-year instrumentality charter school contract with ALBA, and 2, authorize the superintendent's designee in consultation with the board's designee and the office of the city attorney to enter into negotiations with representatives of ALBA and to draft a renewed instrumentality charter school contract to begin with the start of the 24-25 school year and end on the last regularly scheduled day of the 28-29 school year.
Would administration please present the item?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Keith Posley, Superintendent of Schools. We're asking your approval for the renewal of the Alba Instrumentality Charter School contract based on the recommendation that is before you this evening. At this time, I will ask Bridget Schock, Director of Contract and School Services, to walk us through the renewal recommendations for the contract, after which we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have in regards to this item. Bridget.
Good evening, Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. The item before you is a request to approve a 5-year contract renewal for ALBA. In the final year of the contract term, the renewal process is initiated. The schools are required to submit a letter of intent to demonstrate their desire to renew their charter school contract. Schools then complete an application for renewal that highlights how the school has been faithful to the implementation of its educational program and its future plans. The preliminary performance summary provides a snapshot of the school's academic, financial, and organizational performance over the term of the contract. ALBA has met 75% or more of its academic standards, 100% of its financial standards, and at least 80% or more of its organizational standards over the contract term. The detailed items are attached. The review team is tasked with reviewing the documents, spending a full day at the school, and providing a recommendation for renewal for the board's consideration. On November 2nd, the review team spent a full day at ALBA. During this time, the school provided a presentation to further demonstrate their program implementation. The team engaged in classroom visits and focus groups with the students, families, alumni, and staff. This time allows opportunity for the team to ask questions related to the academic, financial, and organizational performance. ALBA was established in fall 2004 and has received a 5-year renewal for each contract cycle. ALBA provides an environment that is safe, centered on culture, and embraces creativity for fine arts, performing arts, and music. In 2019, ALBA added 6th grade, and each year after added a grade level to serve grades K-3 through 8. During this contract term, they became the first bilingual IB primary years program in the state of Wisconsin. For the next contract term, ALBA is working to expand the IB program to the middle years. The MPS Charter School Review Team recommends a 5-year charter school renewal with ALBA. The school provides an educational program that has a strong bilingual program, rich in culture and arts, integrated with rigorous academics for students. ALBA is providing opportunities for students that will change and/or transform their lives now and into the future. Staff work diligently to meet the diverse needs of students and families to create a special and impactful learning environment. The school provides opportunities for families with strong community partners that are having an impact on student learning. ALBA has clearly made a positive impact on many students and families over the 20 years they have been an instrumentality charter school in Milwaukee. A full detail of the recommendation is attached to this item. At this time, we can answer any questions you might have.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Leonard.
I just need clarity on the health and safety. Is the reason that was a no just because we're not at 99.9% immunization?
Chair Gokul Gandhi, Director Leonard, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. That is correct. Per the terms of the contract, they need to meet the statutory limit.
Oh my. Okay, thank you.
Director Leonard, any follow-up?
No.
Any other questions? Director Zambor.
Thank you, Chair Gokul Gandhi. So I had the pleasure of attending the full day review of ALBA, and I just wanted to share a few highlights from the visit. And some of this is from my notes, but what I saw was a very positive experience. You know, classrooms were filled with joy. The student work and the classrooms reflected strong teaching and learning practices. Students were incredibly engaged in their classrooms. The lessons were appropriate for the grade level, and there was a very high amount of differentiated instruction. There was just this really positive school culture. I think over and over again, it became apparent that families there that Alba is a family, right? And so parents have tremendous amount of mutual respect, parents and staff for each other. One thing that did come up was that parents expressed that they want more space in the building, and that there was a need to expand special education services and the space to do that. But it was apparent that educators were dedicated to the mission and success of the school. And overall, it was an incredible school visit. And so hats off to the teachers, leaders, educators, and parents at Alba.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll move into public testimony. Secretary Koala, we'll take online testimony first.
Madam Chair, there are no virtual speakers for this item.
Great, then we will start with Radames Galarza.
Good afternoon. My name is Radames Galarza, R-A-D-A-M-E-S, Galarza, G-A-L-A-R-Z-A. Madam Secretary and School Board, I want to say that I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve Alba for 5 more years. I'm one of the initial founders, and I'm glad to hear all the positive comments about the school. We hope that in the next 5 years, we're able to move the IB program to the middle school and continue to service our Latino families and anybody else who's interested in the school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nadia Elise Mendez.
Nadia Liz Mendez, M-E-N-D-E-Z. I am a parent and also part of the school governance board at Alba. We have a long history in Alba. My nephews, my kids, they've all attended Alba and we have a great experience. It's very culturally relevant. First of all, thank you for coming to Alba and being able to experience what we see on a daily basis. As a parent, I do want to express the need for more space, especially for the special education department. Alba is such a family-oriented place or school that it makes it a great place to have families who have children with different and higher needs be able to come to this place where they can get help in a language that they understand. We always know that that is a huge obstacle for families receiving special services and that kind of interventions for their children. I myself, only 2 of my children attend Alba because my child who was diagnosed on the autism spectrum disorder is unable to receive those services through Alba because of the limited space and the limited resources that they have for the special education department. And being such a strong Latino family-oriented space in Alba, it just makes it a great opportunity for us to be able to embrace those families and provide that help in a bilingual setting. Not only would it benefit the child, but it also will benefit the parent in such a magnificent way, just given the fact that parents get a lot of resources and training at Alba, and we're able to help our children. So thank you again. Please consider giving us even more access to more space so that we can continue to help our families, especially those who have higher needs children. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Briseida Coro.
Hi, everyone. My name is Briseida Coro, spelled B-R-I-S-E-I-D-A-C-O-R-R-O. I have actually 2 kids in that class, in this school. I have a K-3, and I have a 6th grader right here with me. And I gotta say, since I changed my son to this school, I had seen a lot of progress in him. For my 6-year-old, his math, it's over the board. His reading, anything, if he's going quite slow in his maybe reading or writing, right away the teacher will contact me. Even when my son started that school, it was very strange when I go pick him up. All the teachers will be, bye, Osvaldo, goodbye. And I'm like, well, how many teachers do you have? You know, because I only know 1. Well, actually, everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew Osvaldo, except I didn't know who was who. So, while the years keep going by, I know what's teacher, who's teacher, who are they. So I have noticed that everybody knows everyone in that school. All the teachers know all the kids. It's insane to know all the kids' names, but they do. They do, and I'm so happy that I had found a school that actually, I go to the meetings with all the teachers, and I could see as a parent, I could see the teachers given, what they study, they're actually, bringing it out to be a teacher, because there's some teachers that will go there and, well, you learn good. If you don't, well, my bad, No, these teachers are actually there to teach the students. They're there. And I'm very, very happy for that. And I hope you guys could give him, 5 more years. He's right now in middle school, and I'm for sure if we did not have no middle school, I don't know what middle school to grab, It's a big MPS system, and I just hope you guys really give him another 5 more years. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Osvaldo Coro. You got it. Come on.
He's my son. He's quite nervous. Dale, go ahead.
I don't want to speak.
It's okay. Not even one sentence? You do like going to the
He's
school?
very nervous.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. We got you in support of. And our last speaker on this item is Brenda Martinez.
Hi, good evening, Chair Gokul Gandhi, SASI committee members, Superintendent Posley, and members of the administration. I have to keep my glasses on and down because I can't see otherwise. I reached that point, so I'm sorry for having bad eye contact. I'm privileged to be one of the 3 co-founders and the lead teacher of Alba School. I come first here out of a place of gratitude to you all. The 3 of us who started our school are all MPS graduates, 1 from South Division and 2 from Milwaukee High School of the Arts. And so this is our way of giving back to the community that has given so much to us. So thank you for that. 20 years ago, and it's really hard to think 20 years has passed, Alba welcomed 120 students through our infamous Blue Doors. And we had just 6 homerooms at that time, serving 7 different grade levels. And our motto is Preparando Nuestro Futuro Hoy, which means preparing tomorrow's future today. The goal of our school 20 years ago was to address the inequality facing bilingual students who had to give up the possibility of learning in their native language in order to attend an arts specialty elementary school. So we created Alba to be the bilingual fine arts school for students whose first language is Spanish, so that we would value language, culture, and traditions throughout our school. We made partnerships with community arts organizations. We invested school funding into purchasing extensive art materials, technology, instruments for everything from kindergarten violin lessons through our 5th to 8th grade samba drum lines, and staffing our arts classes at nearly 3 times the amount of AMP that's provided by the district, so that we're able to fulfill this mission. In August 14th of this year, when school started on the early start calendar, we welcomed 620 students through those Blue Doors into 22 homerooms spanning 11 grade levels. So 20 years ago, we were 120 students, and now we're at 620 20 years later. We're continuing to address inequitable options for bilingual students, seguimos en la lucha, to make sure that our younger students have the option of an IB education through the primary years program, which upholds Spanish as their first language, as the mother tongue, and now through the middle years program for our youth in grades 6 to 8, which really intensifies academic rigor and maintains the continuity of global mindedness and the development as learners throughout K3 through 8th grade. To accomplish this, and I'm out of time, we've consciously and painstakingly upheld the original goal and purpose of our charter to be incubators of innovation. Alba's educational programs, unlike any other in the district, with the bilingual program model that infuses academic English language, fine arts, teacher leadership, and high levels of parental involvement. Alba in Spanish means the dawn of the morning, the bright, the radiant first light, and our logo is the sun, that gorgeous sun that warmed us today and kept us playing outside on the playground after school. We have many staff, we have several staff, families, and students that have joined us here for the meeting. We're all sitting together over here, so if you guys could just give your best smile so they can see that we are here and we are all but proud tonight to support this item. And I'll stop there because I'm out of time. I ask that you support the 5-year contract renewal and keep looking to the Alba sun in different data that crosses your desk. And perhaps when looking for solutions to issues facing other schools, ask how we do it at Alba and replicate our proven practices that make Alba stand out above the others. If you have any questions about our school or about the renewal, I'm willing to answer them at this time.
Thank you. Okay, Osvaldo, last chance. Okay, what is the pleasure of the committee with respect to this item? Director O'Halloran.
I move approval of the administration's recommendation for a 5-year renewal. And Osvaldo, the first time I testified, I was very nervous, so cut yourself some slack.
All right, Secretary Koala.
On Director O'Halloran's motion to approve the administration's recommendations relative to the renewal of the charter school contract with Alba, Director Leonard.
Aye.
Director O'Halloran.
Aye.
Chair Gokul Gandhi.
Aye.
That's 3 ayes. The motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Next item, please.
The next item is item 2, action on a recommendation to approve the renewal of the instrumentality charter school contract for Green Tree Preparatory Academy Incorporated for Green Tree Preparatory Academy. The recommendation is that the board, 1, approve the renewal of a 3-year instrumentality charter school contract with Green Tree Preparatory Academy, Inc., and 2, authorize the superintendent's designee, in consultation with the board's designee and the office of the city attorney, to enter into negotiations with representatives of Green Tree Preparatory Academy, Inc. for Green Tree Preparatory Academy, and to draft a renewed instrumentality charter school contract to begin with the start of the 24-25 school year and end on the last regularly scheduled day of the 26-27 school year.
Would the administration please present the item?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, this evening we're asking for your approval of a renewal of the Green Tree Preparatory Charter School contract based on the recommendations that are before you. At this time, I will ask Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services, to walk us through the renewal recommendations for the contract. Afterwards, we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have in regards to this item. Bridget.
Good evening, Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. The item before you is a request to approve a 3-year contract renewal for Green Tree Preparatory Academy. In the final year of the contract term, the renewal process is initiated. The schools are required to submit a letter of intent to demonstrate their desire to renew their charter school contract. Schools then complete an application for renewal that highlights how the school has been faithful to implementing its educational program and its future plans. The preliminary performance summary provides a snapshot of the school's academic, financial, and organizational performance over the term of the contract. Green Tree has met less than 50% of its academic standards. However, it has met 100% of its financial standards and more than 80% of its organizational standards over the contract term. The detailed items are attached. The review team is tasked with reviewing the documents, spending a full day at the school, and providing a recommendation for renewal for the board's consideration. On October 31st, the review team spent a full day at Green Tree. During this time, the school provided a presentation to further demonstrate their program implementation. The team engaged in classroom visits and focus groups with students, families, and staff. This time allows opportunities for the team to ask questions related to the academic, financial, and organizational performance. Green Tree was established in fall 2019 with grades 6 through 9 and grew a grade level each year and currently serves grades 6 through 12. Green Tree had its first graduating class in spring of 2023. It was evident that students were ready to learn and express that Green Tree was a place that helped them grow. The staff spoke passionately about the students, and it was evident that they cared for the students and wanted to provide a safe and engaging learning environment. Green Tree has shown slight growth on the state assessments for middle school students in ELA and science, according to the forward, and for high school students in ELA and math on the pre-EACT. Green Tree had its obstacles and challenges to open its school. The pandemic impacted all of us. However, in opening a new school, this created some additional obstacles to implementing the educational program and building the climate and culture outlined in its educational program. Given these unprecedented challenges to start a new school, the review team recommends a 3-year renewal with Green Tree, along with a developed action plan to be implemented. This will allow the time needed to fully realize its educational program and an opportunity to demonstrate further growth. Since the site visit, Green Tree has provided administration with some systems and practices that have been established to address the concerns raised by the review team. A full detail of the recommendation is attached to this item. At this time, we can answer any questions you might have.
If my colleagues are okay with it, we just have a large testimony pile, so I'm going to take public testimony first. We're going to go to the virtual speakers. I understand we have one.
That's correct, Madam Chair. The virtual speaker on the platform is Mark Sane. Please say your name, spell your last name, and give your testimony.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening, Chair Gogo Gandhi, Superintendent Posley. Happy holidays to everyone. My name is Mark Sane, Board Chair, Green Tree Preparatory Academy. Back in 2018, I brought forth a resolution to redesign Daniel Webster Middle School when I was District 1 School Board Director. This administration and the board approved a instrumentality charter school, Green Tree Preparatory Academy, to begin in the fall of the 2019-2020 school year. Unfortunately, COVID-19 hit in 2020 and the school struggled. The loss of students, teachers, and instruction time set the school back about 1.5 years. Since returning to full instruction, Dr. Fisher and her team have worked diligently rebuilding the school. There are still some issues with the influx of new students, which challenge the culture and climate of the school. The GPA team has worked on implementing programs to address those needs. Other challenges include locating staff to fill the needs of students in the areas of special ed, math, foreign language, as well as safeties, which is a district-wide issue. The GPA staff and its board want to build something special for MPS students. The GPA board recognizes some of the hiring issues that affect our district, but having the same teachers in front of students each day is paramount. Though I'm not in total favor of a 3-year renewal, considering we lost some very important organizational and instructional time during COVID, I wish we had more. I would ask that the administration and the board instruct the Office of Contracted Schools to come up with a check-in schedule to help support the efforts of GPA. Since the pandemic, GPA student enrollment has grown substantially, and we need to be able to offer educational services for its students to grow academically. GPA can grow student leaders with the help of this board and the administration. We can make this happen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll move to our in-person speakers. The first one, Katrina Fisher.
Good evening, Chair Gogo Gandhi. Is that correct?
It is correct. Thank you.
That's important to me. Milwaukee Board of School Directors, Dr. Keith Posley, Superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools, and the SASI committee members. My name is Dr. Katrina Fisher, Katrina Fisher, proud graduate of Milwaukee Public Schools, North Division, class of 1982, and I see that we've got North Division in the back right here. As the founding principal, we have made history by joining the ranks of Milwaukee Public Schools as an instrumentality charter school during the COVID-19 pandemic for the 19-20 school year. However, my goal is not to focus on the pandemic, but rather our accomplishments despite the adversities faced by the pandemic. At GPA, our mission is to build a body of student leaders who will lead or own tomorrow's businesses. Our motto is "Our roots run deep. Plant your scholar at Green Tree Preparatory Academy and watch how they grow." Although we've had humble beginnings, we have seen some huge successes. We witnessed our first senior class graduate from GPA at the end of the 2022-2023 school year. Students in this class were the first to participate in the MQ program at MATC and at UWM, which afforded them an opportunity to receive college credit in high school. This partnership has expanded to both juniors and seniors for this school year. Students also participate in the Lead to Change program at GPA, Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship partnerships that affords them opportunities for internships during the summer of each year. This is at the end of every year, they'll have an opportunity to participate in the summer. I'm sorry, I'm still a little nervous. GPA has grown from 212 students to 219 students, to 514 students for the 2023-2024 school year, including a wait list of 29 students this year. As a school and as the leader of the building, I recognize that we have not fully met our goals outlined by our charter review team. However, as a community, as you can see, we've grown and we're here and we're representing. We are determined to make changes that will improve our academics, culture, and climate at GPA. We have revamped our advisory, which includes scheduled 6 through 12 restorative practices topics, pre-ACT and ACT prep materials, and our 7 skills for success activities specific to our students. The middle school teachers have implemented restorative practices intervention daily specifically for our at-risk males. PBIS incentives reducing the number of office visits and referrals. The high school teachers collectively work after-school tutoring with struggling students as an additional intervention. To increase the rigor at GPA, for second semester, we will have our first cohort of 8th grade students that will be taking high school courses. At the high school, we will be working with staff regarding professional development for advanced placement for high school courses. This is just a few of the changes that have been implemented since our charter review on October 31st, 2023. That being said, I ask that you give us an opportunity to demonstrate to you and the MPS community that we can meet the goals of improving student achievement at Green Tree Preparatory Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong. It's just a little messy handwriting. Dekendra Scott? I didn't mean to call you out like that. That was...
Thank you. My name is Dekendra Scott, and I came here to speak for Green Tree Academy because...
Can you spell your last name for us?
SCOTT. I came here to speak for Green Tree Academy because it's only my first year here, and I already feel like I'm at home. The teachers and the principals and everybody there just makes the whole school feel like a family. I'm a cheerleader there, so I really represent the school, and I really want to show everyone here that that we deserve this, you know.
Do you want to? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, this one is even a little messier, but I'm going to try, okay? Rianel, I can't read the last name, so you can come tell me your last name. And if I said your first name correctly, otherwise you can tell me and call me out. You got it, come on. You made it to the podium. You could do it.
Okay, so...
Yes. What's your name?
My name is Rayon McGruder. MCGRUDER.
Thank you, go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like Green Tree is a good school because, I don't know, like the teachers, they teach well, they know how to explain stuff well for me and stuff. And I'm a cheerleader. I like my cheer team. It's like a little family. The school in general is like a big family. They make you feel like with the family. And we got some good teachers. Our principal was really good with us. Like, they work really well with their students. Like, they can really teach us. Yeah, it's a really good school. It's a good school.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Contessa Blaylock.
Good evening. My name is Contessa Blaylock. That is spelled Blaylock. I am the parent of Clifton Penn Jr. He was one of the first graduates of Green Tree Preparatory Academy. Clifton did not go all 4 years to Green Tree. He actually experienced some trouble at other MPS schools where he was eventually brought to or sent over to Green Tree Prep. And he was towards the end of his school year. He enrolled roughly January 2024 of this year. He went in, and as the kids say, it was a warm welcome. I sat at the desk with Ms. Hicks as well as Clifton Penn, and I told her my goal was for my son to graduate MPS. I am not a graduate of MPS. I actually went back to get my education because I took the back road in life. However, I am a proud graduate. I also have my associate's degree, and I work for the Center for Veterans Issues here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, serving our homeless veterans. There is a school, there's a tree that sits outside that school. That tree was, I guess it was, how you say, donated, or during graduation, she said that tree sits there because our roots run there. My son roots run at Green Tree Preparatory Academy. My son passed away September 4th, 2023, due to gun violence. I sit here today very strong. I stand here because I feel Green Tree Prep deserve another opportunity. They started during a very trying time for all of us. Those were unprecedented times. I believe even during that time, I lost my son due to a lot of the social media things going on amongst our kids and in our community. I just really would like for them to have another opportunity. They did all they could to ensure that Clifton graduated, that he graced that stage, and they did that. That was my goal for my son when I walked into Green Tree Preparatory Academy and sat down with Ms. Hicks. That was Clifton's goal, and he did that. And on his graduation, he said, "I did it for you." So I ask you guys, from the bottom of my heart, to give them another opportunity. I would like to enroll my 13-year-old into their 9th grade in 2024. Dr. Fisher, she poured her heart out, and she pours her heart out to our children. What I witnessed at Green Tree Preparatory Academy was accountability. Our children are not being held accountable, and she held my son accountable. Our kids tend to know that if they don't have their shirts on, they get turned around. When he would come without that shirt on, he got turned around. He should have been turned around. They should get turned around because it's about accountability. If we don't teach them accountability, who is? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Bernal Fox. So I know our timer isn't working here, so we'll keep track of the 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and I'll just let you know when you've got 15 seconds to wrap up. So go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My name is Bernal Fox, spelled F-O-X. Of course, here to represent Green Tree Preparatory Academy. I think the school has a very great community around it. Has a very great community. The teachers and students, they interact well, and I feel like that really does bring out a lot of people's talents, you know, and especially people who struggle with maybe social anxiety in the school. I feel like having teachers be so open is really great, really great having, to be honest. And Green Tree Preparatory also allowed a lot of programs. As I said before, the program is really good. I participate right now in a nursing program, so it is good. As some, I get college credits and all that, but as someone who actually like deals with college stuff and college, who's seen college work, I do feel that the education is a little lack, if you will. I do feel like we do kind of lack some things. Like every once in a while, I would come to school and it felt like I would do the same thing over. But every once in a while, I would get a feeling that I'm learning something, that this school does have potential to actually teach something. And I believe that having the time allotted to develop that, to develop that something, to actually turn that potential into something useful, I think is really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Djala Fox.
My name is Djala Fox.
You got it.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Djala Fox, FOX. I am a Green Tree Preparatory Academy student, and I have come here obviously to represent my school, and I think it is actually a pretty good school to be in. This is my first year going here, so I can say the experience was actually better than the rest of my schools, you know. I'm trying.
I know it's not.
I think Green Tree can offer more opportunities, especially to me, knowing that I'm trying to really get somewhere in life. Most kids don't really think that's good. I don't know. I just think that this school is a very helpful school and a very extraordinary school to be in. The work, going to public school in general is super easy. That's what I think. I think it's super easy, and I can say that I'm getting good grades going to this school. I'm actually interacting more and, meeting new people and experiencing different things.
Extracurricular activities.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. No. See, oh, this is hard. I know.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Like I was saying, it's good to get out of the house and go to school. I'll be happy sometimes to go to school, but then sometimes it's not the best day to go to school. But I feel like going here, it's just more exciting to see the people that I know that's there, and it's people there that can help me with my work and actually help me in moving forward towards my goals and dreams that I have. So, yeah.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Julia D'Amato.
Good evening, honorable board members and Superintendent Keith Posley and staff and students and families of Green Tree Preparatory Academy. My name is Julia D'Amato, D''Amato. I've been in education. This year is my 49th year. I am the founding principal of Ronald Wilson Reagan College Preparatory High School. I'm here today to support the action item number 2 on the approval of the renewal of instrumentality charter school contract of Green Tree Preparatory High School, otherwise known as GPA. I have worked with Dr. Fisher since the opening of GPA in the fall of 2018. I've worked with the administrators, the staff, the teachers, the students, and we all work together to develop the systems and to support the development of a positive school culture with the emphasis on developing students that embody the 7 skills the school has adapted.
Since the spring of 2019, the systems were put in place in order to provide support for the scholars were strained because of the pandemic. School as we know it was a distant memory. COVID hit. COVID is not an excuse, it's a reality. COVID strained the world health and global economy and educational systems and so on. GPA had to change and adapt our educational systems to teach online, hold online discussion boards, assessing online, etc. We struggled as a school, as a family, as we saw the nation and the world struggle with the same issues. Fast forward today. GPA has learned through the struggles, and because of what they've learned, they have grown stronger in implementing immediate changes in systems and practices, professional development, instructional staff support, accountability, student academic accountability, instructional program changes, culture and climate changes, and family implemented support changes to maintain close ties and to our strong family units. Dr. Fisher had mentioned some of the changes, and I'm not going to reiterate them. GPA has a strong foundation of caring parents and students who will become our future professionals and workforce, and a staff that is caring, steadfast, and determined to educate and motivate each of our amazing scholars. As the founding principal of a successful MPS school, I know the trials and tribulations that have challenged myself, the Reagan family, and the community. The development of Reagan had many ups and downs, but we never had a global pandemic that hindered our academic growth and development. I believe I have the respect of the district. I know and can recognize talent and potential success. I implore you to give GPA a chance to continue to implement the systems and changes that guarantee academic growth and success for the students at GPA. I humbly ask you to please move forward and approve the charter renewal for GPA. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Amy Lynch.
Hi, I am Amy Lynch, Amylynch. I am a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at Green Tree. This is my second year here. We're a family. It's since the day I walked into that door, well, not the day, probably the second week I walked into that door, I was part of that family. They surround you just like we surround our students. Proud of my two young ladies for coming up and talking because they see too, they know it's a special place. I've been teaching this is my 29th year teaching, only my 4th school, but it's one of my best schools that I have been at. We persevere. I think that's the biggest thing that I can say. And I wasn't there with COVID. I was at a different MPS school, but from what I've heard and what I see and watching the kids come back and learn to be students again, we persevere. Having the huge increase in population all of a sudden this year, having 4 6th grades when we had 2, having, I don't know how many more in our freshman class, it shows a lot to, number one, the safety and the care of Green Tree. Green Tree is a safe place. It's a safe place when you're inside. It's a safe place emotionally for staff and for students. We persevere, and that's the math teacher. I know my girl's going, she says that in class all the time, but we persevere. We're always working, we're always changing. We take our criticism and we look at it. Sometimes we argue about what we need to do, but we all come together and we do what's best for our students and for our school, for our families. I hope you give Green Tree the chance to continue to grow, to continue to do what we do. We're better every year. We're better this year than we were last year. I know it's only my second year here, but you see the improvement. You see the improvement with staff that want to stay. The good ones don't leave. They stay here. And as we get fully staffed and as we are able to take the criticism that we've gotten from the board, and take that and put it into action, you will see an improvement. I guarantee that. You have staff that cares. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephanie Allen.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Allen, A-L-L-E-N. I am a former parent, current board member of GPA. I stand here on behalf of GPA, obviously, but I'm standing here also as a former parent, thinking about the time when my daughter and my son attended the school. And how much growth happened in their lives. So my kiddos came from foster care, and so when I think of all the struggles that they had to go through, even in life, and putting them in a school like this was just so magnificent and so important for them and for their growth. Green Tree, of course, we started in 2019, and we started off as a little tree. Our motto is our roots run deep. And when you think about that, giving us the time to grow, look at a tree. Tree starts off this little. And if you give us the opportunity to grow, you will see everyone blossom. To have all these kids here, to have all these parents here, to have all these staff here invested in a school says a whole lot. Middle school is one of the toughest times of a kid's life. And for them to stand in front of you and say, I like my school, I enjoy my school, I'm learning at my school, things are happening at my school, they're invested in their education. And you don't see that a whole lot today, but you see them here. They're sitting here, they're talking as best as they could to show you that they want their school. And so as a former parent, as a board member, we understand the obstacles that have come up against us, but we're pressing on. A tree has many obstacles. The winds blow, it may bend, but it comes right back. And every leaf, every student, every family that has sat here and said, we want our school, is a part of that tree. And I implore you guys to please renew our contract, because it is an important school for our community, it is an important school for these kids, and these teachers are committed to making a difference in the city of Milwaukee. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna try. This one's a little hard to read, so forgive me. I think it might be Daniel Enrique. I can't read the third one. Ruiz? You can do it, come on. Okay, it's, the last name I think is Ruiz. And I think there's a middle name, Enrique. Dr. O'Halloran, would you like to help me out and see if you can read that? No? David? Oh, no? Okay. Okay, cool. We'll do the next one. Okay, Salim Jose Cerne Ruiz? A sibling, perhaps? You can correct me if I said it incorrectly. I'm sorry.
No worries, okay. My name is Salim Jose Cerne Ruiz. I'm the son of
Can you spell your last name for us?
Yeah, S-A-L-I-M.
Just the last name.
R-U-E-C.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm the son of Erica Patricia, a teacher from Green Tree. We've been here for around 3 months by now. I've been with her and my brother at the school, helping with the events, and I've met the staff. They are really good people, and they are focused in their mission to help students to grow and develop their abilities. Especially the coach, I see how he works with the guys. He's very dedicated, he is really supportive, and his work is very great. Well, I gotta say that maybe the students can be a bit problematic, but that's why teachers are there to correct them and help them go on the right path and complete and try to, instead of denying their desires, helping them to achieve them in a better way that can help them in the future. I think that's everything I have to say right now.
I want to thank all of you for coming out here today and participating. I want to especially thank our students. You all did an amazing job. It is really intimidating to get up there, and you all spoke from your hearts, and you did great. So don't be scared to come back and do it again. I am going to go to our committee members for questions. So we will start with Director Zambor.
Thank you, Chair Gokul-Gandhi. It's scary up here too sometimes. So I just wanted to, I was also on the charter review team for Green Tree Prep, and so I spent the full day there, and I wanted to share some of my experience just so that you have more information when you make your decision tonight. I want to start by saying that this conversation is not one that I've been looking forward to because it's a hard one. And after visiting Green Tree and reviewing their application, I think it's pretty clear that the charter application didn't meet all of the standards, and I know you all have that application in front of you. I appreciate Mr. Sain and Dr. Fisher's acknowledging some of the concerns that the review team raised. I guess just going back to the application, the application itself provides insufficient evidence of increased student achievement or continuous improvement. The application does state, quote, staffing is a major challenge, but there's no plan in there to address the staffing issues. I talked about Springboard ELA and math in grades 6 through 11. However, Springboard's been discontinued and the staff were unaware of that. There were no concrete plans in the application for renewal to address the lack of academic performance in core subject areas, which I know you probably all saw. The school claimed it implemented a restorative justice program. However, both of our student focus groups were not able to verify this claim. Claims of growth listed in the application around student discipline and parent involvement were not substantiated during our review. Green Tree did not provide compelling evidence that the school is meeting its performance standards. We did classroom visits, and they did not reflect, the majority of them did not reflect positive teaching and learning practices. I think there was a consensus among a review team that students were absolutely ready to learn, but it was unclear in many of the classes what the students were supposed to be doing or why. The content material was not always at grade level. Multiple students approached us during the review and asked if we were going to close down their school. The classrooms that I walked into lacked adequate supplies, including Chromebooks, scissors, headphones. One of the art classes, students didn't have enough scissors, so the instructor had to go around the school to find scissors for the activity. There were some bright spots. In a couple of the classrooms, there were students that were very engaged and respectful. It was clear that the students were ready to learn. During our focus groups, the students did make comments like, I don't think the stuff we're learning is that hard. We could be taught more with new concepts that test my brain. The students asked for more social justice classes with subjects that tackle real-world issues. All of the middle school students we met were applying to other high schools. There was a concern by people on the review team, I think this is important, that a non-renewal could close the school and leave a very large educational gap in the area. And so if you're wondering why the recommendation might seem generous, I think that was a major concern that the review team had. I think everyone in the stage knows that a non-renewal doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a school operating in that building the next year, but it was a very real fear for people on the committee. that it could mean permanent closure of the school. So as a board, we have to do some soul searching to make sure that whatever decision we make is not for political reasons or personal connections. The decision must ensure that we are wrapping our arms around the students of Green Tree and telling them we're not going to let them down. Students and families need to know we're going to make this right, and we're going to do everything we can to give them the resources and opportunities they need and deserve to succeed. And regardless of the direction this committee takes tonight, there is no question that Green Tree needs to receive strict oversight and major improvements from now until the end of the school year.
Administration, would you like to comment? Otherwise, we can keep going with the questions.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, one of the things that I have had conversation with the team in regards of strict oversight that will take place and has already started in the process. And so we agree that strict oversight is needed, and we as an administration is going to make that happen. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the committee? Director O'Halloran, and then we'll go to you, Director Leonard.
Thank you. So just looking at the DPI website, when they say, what is a charter school? It says, the Wisconsin Charter School Law gives charter schools freedom from most state rules and regulations in exchange for greater accountability for results. And so it is troubling to hear some of the results, some of the experiences, and then reading some of the materials that are being brought to us for consideration about not meeting standards. I think the first page had did not meet the standards below 50% for the academic performance. And so I am glad to hear that there will be greater oversight. What I would like to know in the summary comments, it says that you recommend a 3-year charter renewal that includes an action plan to address the following, and it has some bullet points, and that the action plan will be implemented by the school in a 3-year progression, monitored and supported by administration. If I'm going to move forward with voting for this, I need to know more concrete, not like oversight is happening. I've heard that interventions have started, and I'm really glad to hear that, but I need to know a little bit more about what the timeline for that oversight looks like, who's involved in the oversight, can we get an annual report if we're going to move forward with a 3-year renewal? How is the board going to hear back about whether those interventions are working?
Administration.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, as far as the oversight piece, like I said, we have already started that. And anything that is not there, that is growth process, anything can be added at any time. I'm going to have Bridget Schock to kind of walk through what that looks like. However, the board deserves the right to have us to come back anytime, any year, at the end of the year, or whatever the situation. We look forward to doing just that and reporting out on our findings. But we will also make sure that, and you asked the question, what does oversight look like? We have regional superintendents, Dr. Smith, that will be working with the school community, as well as Bridget Schock, and then there's others, and I'll allow Bridget to kind of share some of the insight of the oversight.
Chair Gokul Gandhi, Director O'Halloran, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. So schools have a school improvement plan, and in the school improvement plan, it's specifically aligned to their contract measures, especially with our instrumentality charter schools. So within that school improvement plan, that's monitored, oversight, supported by the staff that Dr. Posley mentioned, as well as a school performance coordinator who's there at the learning team meetings to help guide this work. That will be a part of it. So within the school improvement plan, there will be a section for them to put those specific action steps and to monitor their progress over the term of like the 3-year contract. And like Dr. Posley said, we can definitely bring that to you at any time. The school also has to submit a performance and compliance audit, so information is also provided to the board regularly in that report, as well as their financial audit that's presented annually. but we can, more than happy to bring regular updates to the board as well.
Director Halloran, any follow-up?
I think I have to just sit with this for a minute, but I'll pass at this moment.
Director Leonard?
Okay, so I'm not going to add more to that. You guys covered what we're looking for that way. I do want to just mention some specifics that I heard. So first of all, when we're looking at whatever we're going to do with helping GPA overcome some of these obstacles, one is there's clearly a lack of consistency going on in the building. So in some classrooms it's happening, sometimes it's not. Obviously, we can no longer work under those kind of conditions. So we have to improve that significantly. I don't have a question so much of not renewing or renewing. At this point in time, I just need to make sure that, and I have to agree with Director O'Halloran, there has to be some very concrete parameters that we're looking for so that we know what we're judging. We use a lot of high terms, high-minded kind of terms, but most of us really need something very concrete. And I do sort of formally propose that we make sure that we have this presented before us by sometime in May, the first time, so we can get a very clear idea of what kind of progress is being made. And then I personally am going to ask that I can visit the school myself. That's just my style. I don't. And I want to reassure the students and staff that we got to be with them. This is more of an action that we do together. It's not a punitive action that says, okay, you're under pressure, good luck, we'll see you in 6 months. That is the worst way to go about this. I was in that situation once, and I would never want to be in it again as a teacher at MPS, so I understand that situation. But I just want to make sure that I make that really very, very clear, that we have to have very concrete things. I can't figure it all out. Director Halloran, I have to do the same thing. I got to sit back and sort of figure out what those concrete steps really are. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Any other comments from committee members? Administration.
Chair Gokogandi, Director Leonard, members of the committee, Bridget Shack, Contracted School Services. So Green Tree does have quite a bit of new staff that have started with them, and in order for them to get the support that they needed, they've increased their mentors and coaching staff from 1 to 3, and that was just in the time from October 31st to now to go in to support those students. In addition, they've also provided some partners with CISA and El Verno to provide some really focused professional development around specific to that school's need, guided around the 7 skills for success. So within those little over a month, they've already put those things into place. I would also like to point out that the school in 2021-22 school year to 22-23 have shown growth in their middle school, specifically in ELA and science. I don't want that to go by the wayside. So they are making these small steps. Has it the big enough progress that we want to see? Not necessarily, but we know that if they continue on this path, that they could show some bigger growth and greater outcomes for students.
I'll just add some of my comments. I'm sorry that we've had to do this right here. It should never get to this stage where we're having a very public discussion on what has gone direly wrong. We should be celebrating successes along the way, and I agree with my colleagues that there needs to be, now this board needs to take, I think, more intimate action as it relates to the day-to-day operations and process improvements that we oversee and ensure that we're providing the student, staff, and community that's shown up here today, right? You all wouldn't have shown up if you didn't care about your school and your community, and that says something to us. And so we have a responsibility then to provide you with that support and oversight that you deserve. And so I am going to make a motion, happy to discuss with my committee members. So I actually move that we do a 1-year contract renewal with a 3-month reoccurring update to the SASI committee with concrete action items that provide us an arena for discussion on how we're making improvements in the school. So Any comments on that? Otherwise, Director Halloran?
I was just going to ask if administration can respond.
Sure.
Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Services. So the data that we could bring forward, I'm struggling with. The contract measures are around the state assessments, and that's a 1 year. So we'll be able to have that in, well, by the time it comes out is later, fall when we get those results. Makes it a little difficult to do a 1 year. A 3-month progress would be specific around the action plan, perhaps. That's doable. I think a 1-year contract is difficult to show growth, but we'll work with whatever the committee decides.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, one thing I will say is the idea as far as being an instrumentality charter. Contractual language has put us in a situation where we, as an administration, does not have the oversight on a daily basis as we need. However, now, in a situation that we're bringing forward, we will have that oversight and be able to go in to make a difference. So I recommend that we stay with the 3 years and let us come back yearly to the board. And at any time, at the end of the year, when we come back, we can even come back at the end of this year to show the progress and just have intervals or check-in points to see how we are doing and moving forward. Staff means everything, and we have to be able to get the staff fully staffed. We can provide the support. We are on the process of doing that. The finances are there in the school to be able to provide the ongoing level of support that's needed. So I would ask that give us an opportunity to work with the school community, and we will bring it back to you with taking a look at all the key performance indicators so that we can see we is right back here to kind of talk through this as we move forward.
Any other comments? So, Madam Secretary, I'm going to recuse my motion and let a committee member make a different motion, if you're interested in something else.
Okay, we'll try to work this out the right way. So, I'm not great at doing motions on the floor, at least I don't think I am. But anyway, so I have no problem with the 3-year renewal, but I definitely move that we make sure that we have a yearly appraisal, public appraisal. And I do like the idea. I was surprised that you said it was okay to do it every 3 months for the action plan. And you're looking at me like, I'm gonna make it 6 months. I was a teacher. I worked in the system. 3 months is like, you wake up one day and it's 3 months. So that's just to me not exactly fair for staff and students to be improving at that rate of speed. But every 6 months, can we look at the action plan? Does that have to be public, even though we're speaking at this moment in time in public?
Madam Secretary.
I'm not clear on if the plan has been formalized in a way that could be presented. It was not, I don't believe one was attached to the item.
I think we're asking for a plan at the
Okay.
6-month mark, correct?
All right, we're asking for
Okay.
a plan, for a plan for every 6 months to take a look at how they're doing on the action plan, and then once a year, making sure that we are reviewing their contractual obligations, I should say.
Administration.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, yes, we can do just that, and we can bring the plan attached with the contract. When we get ready to do the contract, we can bring the plan, and we could come back with the review every 6 months, or however you want to do it, or either we can present the review to individual board members.
Madam Secretary, do you feel like you've captured the motion?
I think I have, but if I
Okay.
can clarify. The
Sure.
motion is by Director Leonard to approve the administration's recommendations relative to the renewal of the instrumentality charter school contract with Green Tree Preparatory Academy, GPA, and to direct the administration to present an action plan to be reviewed every 6 months.
Is there any further discussion on that motion? Yep, Director O'Halloran.
I'd like to know dates. When would the action plan come back for review?
Administration.
Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted Schools. So the goal is to bring the contract forward in March, and so we would have the action plan attached to the contract. That's the goal for consideration. And then I would think that would start your 6-month mark.
Director O'Halloran.
Just the other question is around staffing. Like, I know your office has many, spinning many plates probably. Do you need assistance from the Office of Board Governance or Office of Accountability and Efficiency?
Administration.
Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Bridget Schock, Director of Contracted School Service. I've never been asked that before. I think we have a school performance coordinator that works in our office that also works with the school, plus my staff regularly are working with Green Tree, plus they have the regional team. I think we can manage, but I appreciate the question.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, and also I will direct our human resources staff to work directly with that school community to make sure that we can do everything we possibly can to fully staff that building.
Any further discussion? Oh, Director Zambor.
Thank you, Chair Gokul Gandhi. And I think Director Leonard had a great idea about visiting the school, and as a citywide director, I would encourage anyone, any director, to take a visit sometime before the next 6 months.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, will the secretary please call the roll?
On the motion by Director Leonard to approve the administration's recommendations relative to the renewal of the instrumentality charter school contract with Green Tree Preparatory Academy, and to direct the administration to present an action plan to be reviewed every 6 months. Director Leonard.
Aye.
Director O'Halloran.
Aye.
Chair Gokul Gandhi.
Aye.
That's 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item, we might, I'm
we
just
can
going to talk a
wait
little
second.
bit so
Yep,
that
absolutely.
the room can transition.
Let's see, we've got a really festive administrator in the room with a candy cane scarf. It looks like could maybe eat it.
Walk through from the North Pole through the candy forest.
She looks pretty fresh, given she
And the
walked through the
Lincoln
North Pole.
Tunnel.
I wonder if this is the most exciting board meeting people have heard on the radio for a while.
We have not had this much public comment in quite a while.
We
so
haven't.
it's kind of fun.
She's now talking about Christmas activities, or holiday activities, sorry, we are a public school.
I think I can call the
You
next
can
item.
call the next item, amazing, thank you.
The next item is item 3, action on the 5-year self-evaluation of the status of non-discrimination and equality of educational opportunity. The recommendation is that the 5-year self-evaluation report be sent to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction to meet the requirements outlined in Wisconsin Administrative Code PI 9.06.
Would administration please present the item?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, this evening, the administration is asking your approval of the submission of our report of a 5-year self-evaluation status of the discrimination, equality, educational opportunity, and MPS. To share this, I have with me Dr. Melanie Stewart, Director of Research and Assessment and Data, and after which we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Dr. Stewart.
Good evening. Melanie Stewart, Director of Research Assessment and Data. Tonight, we are meeting the 5 priorities of success, mostly looking at the increased academic achievement, talking about district and school culture, developing our staff, and strengthening our communication and collaboration. Also, with our strategic plan, we looked at a variety of topics, including graduation, post-secondary readiness, student achievement. Those were the predominant areas of review associated with this five-year self-evaluation. This is a required self-evaluation per administrative code, Wisconsin Administrative Code, that requires us as a district to do a self-analysis at least once every 5 years and report the results to the Department of Public Instruction. The last report was submitted in 2016-17 school year. This year, there were 8 topics, which I will go over in a moment, that were required to be reviewed during the self-evaluations. Participants were sought through social media, newsletters, Thursday updates. It was required that we seek others to be part of the self-evaluation, including community members, staff, students, teachers, family members, etc. We had over 50 individuals who submitted their names to be part of the committee. All individuals were welcome to be part, but 21 attended regularly, and I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of them and to compliment them on their energy and their passion that they brought to this committee and the feedback that they provided us. 26 additional staff members facilitated, presented, or served as table leaders during the 3 evening meetings. The topics that we were directed by the Department of Public Instruction are as follows. We had to look at trends and patterns in awarding scholarships and other forms of recognition. We had to look at trends and patterns in school district support of athletics, extracurricular, and recreational activities. We had to look at our methods and practices, curriculum, materials used in instruction, in counseling, and pupil assessment and testing. We also had to look at our district technology, and that included communications by school district staff. We also looked at patterns of disciplinary actions, including suspensions, expulsions, and handling of pupil harassment, enrollment trends in classes and programs. We looked at school board policies and administrative procedures, and finally, we looked at the school district efforts to achieve equality of educational opportunity and non-discrimination. The process included having 3 meetings held on consecutive Wednesdays in November. Data and artifact was presented by district staff. Team members then could ask questions. We had table discussion. They provided feedback on various topics, and then there was a survey that collected data and comments from the committee members. That data that was collected is part of tonight's packet. Part of the packet includes the post-session surveys, the comments, and other information that the panel included or gave to us. Additionally, some questions were left unanswered at the end of the 3 nights, and a brief FAQ was created and is also attached in this packet. So, what are our next steps? As we looked at the feedback, et cetera, and talked internally about the results, some of the things that came to the surface is we need to, and we were requested to provide transparent reports on efforts to increase equity and non-discrimination and the status of those efforts and impact. One of the things that we know is our policies and procedures are where we want to be as a district, but many of those we are on the road to reaching those. And so there was the request about where are we right now. It's good to show where we want to be, but where are we today? Consider the recommendations made by the committee for future action within the district. A simple example that I can talk about is the night we talked about assessment. There were some requests that were made about how children are being taught about assessment to lower anxiety and concerns, and we are already working to have ways that we will be sharing routinely through testing season to make certain that we are lowering the anxiety on children so that they are able to go into assessments more open and freely. Also, make parents and guardians and the community members aware of opportunities where their voice can be shared, and to continue regular opportunities to discuss the status of equity and non-discrimination in the district. And in preparation for this evening, one of the things I looked at are what are some of the opportunities currently already scheduled. And one of the things that we talked about is we have quite a few student opportunities for voice. We have the student-created equity tool that is going to be providing data, and they're going through Research 101. So that's providing opportunities for students. We are also, there are a series of those that are occurring November, December, and February. PTO, PTA, and school engagement councils are another opportunity to ask questions as to how a school is working on equity. Looking at monthly discipline committees that are available. That's where students can get opportunity to share voice. And also here at our PACE meetings every other month, when we're sharing information about the district culture, climate, and discipline, they can also share their voice through speaker slips, etc. So we will be scheduling some conversations later this winter, early spring, in which we will provide some topics and again allow time for conversation. So at this point, I will end and see if you have questions for us.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director O'Halloran?
I just want to note on page 6 that at the top, the suggestions were made that are already part of the district's work, including they're talking about the disproportionality and discipline and everything, and talking about including school options for students with challenging behaviors, no police officers in buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Safe spaces for students to go if they are removed from the classroom. I wish that the people in Madison would hear this type of feedback, because when we made the decision to remove police officers from our school buildings, we did it at the request of our own people. And now we're told by people in Madison that we shouldn't listen to our own stakeholders, that they know better than we do, or our own stakeholders who are in the school buildings. They don't know themselves well enough. So thank God we have our benevolent overlords to tell us how to do our job better. Not so much a question, just a momentary soapbox. And with that, I will pass.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Also to add people here in Milwaukee, you know? I hope you're hearing that our communities are well suited to make decisions for our kids. Administration, would you like to respond to any of that? You don't have to. I just thought it would be fun. Okay. Any other comments from our, Mr. Chasen?
Thank you, Chair. Cole Gandhi, Matt Chasen, Office of Accountability and Efficiency. Both in the second and third attachment, both the self-evaluation report and the feedback and data make a call out regarding the suggestion of prioritizing funding for schools with higher rates of discipline or proportionality and addressing the root cause by increasing the availability of mental health services. Next month, we will see the parameters and priorities associated with the subsequent budget, and I wasn't sure if the administration was planning on including any of this in their budget priorities and parameters based on the input of the self-evaluation report, or if the administration had any comment on that.
Administration.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, the answer is yes. We will be using all of these documents as it rolls up that the Department of Finance will be working along with OAE with that, as well as far as with the forecast. But all of the parameters that we have used in the budget will be just there the same way, looking at student discipline, looking at mental health supports, and those kinds of things will not change.
Do any members of the public wish to make comments on this item?
We had no speaker requests on this item, Madam Chair.
Great. What is the pleasure of the committee with respect to this item? Director O'Halloran.
Thanks. I've been called worse. I move we approve administration's recommendation that the 5-year self-evaluation report be sent to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction to meet the requirement outlined in Wisconsin Administrative Code.
Madam Secretary.
On the motion by Director O'Halloran to approve the administration's recommendation relative to the submission of this item, Director Leonard.
Aye.
Director O'Halloran.
Aye.
Chair Gokul Gandhi.
Aye.
That's 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Great. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item 4, action on approval of a grant application with the Bicycle Federation of Wisconsin for bicycle and walking safety programs. Madam Chair, this item has been withdrawn at the request of the administration.
Very well. Next item, please.
The next item is item 5, a report with possible action on district and school report cards. This is an informational item. Although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present this item?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, this evening the administration will report the results of the DPI State Report Card. With me this evening is Dr. Melanie Stewart, Director of Assessment and Data, to present this item. Dr. Stewart.
Good evening. Tonight, this report is part of our public notice requirements for the state of Wisconsin regarding our district and state report cards. The 5 priorities for success that we are addressing tonight are primarily our academic achievement and school climate. A part of our strategic plan, we are looking at graduation, post-secondary readiness, and student achievement. Also attached to this is how we use professional learning to increase both of those. We are pleased to present tonight that we met 3 stars. We meet expectations with an overall score of 58.0. We also, though, will have you note that on state report cards, there is still influence from pandemic years and assessment data, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And so one of the things that we will talk about tonight is the cautions in looking at this current year's report cards. The report card is based on 4 priority scores. This is the start of where it's important when you're looking at individual school report cards is to see which of the priority areas are included. For us as a district, we saw very little change. The percentage of each was the same last year, and we had all 4 priority areas. What we do want to celebrate, though, is Whittier and Ronald Reagan High School were the highest overall accountability for the district. Both schools at significantly exceeds expectations. 69 of our schools either rated meet, exceeds, or significantly exceeds expectations. This year, 38 schools have a higher rating, 69 had the same rating, 40 declined, and 6 schools received a regular report card instead of an alternative report card. So first, we're going to look over many years. We're going to look from 2015-16 to this past year to see how we have shifted in our report card distribution. Again, noting that in 2021, that was the new format for the report card. Also noting that the 1920 school report card is missing due to the pandemic. Alternate report cards, you can see that fewer and fewer of our schools are getting alternate report cards. Over the years, the requirements for an alternate report card have shifted slightly, so we have only 10 schools that receive an alternate. Some of the cautions we want to look at, as I mentioned, looking at priority areas when you look at report cards is very important this year. Here's an example from one of our schools. Last year, their priority area pie only had 2 areas. 80% of their report card last year was based on achievement. This year, 72% is on growth. So we need an only 8% on achievement. So when we look at the changes in report cards is to be certain that we always dig deeper this year. Looking at things like how many students participate in state assessments or growth calculations. Looking at how many priority areas were used in the calculations, what years of data and what instructional model was in place. So for example, attendance will be from 2018-19 through 21-22. So this is already a 2-year delay. Achievement and growth is the most recent data on the report card, but those growth factors were impacted by our primarily virtual year in 2021, and so some of the growth values are still very small for some schools. What we also have to ask is, did high pre-pandemic data no longer impact calculations? Last year's report card had pre-pandemic data in it from the 2018-19 school year. If you will recall, we were making steady growth. Then the pandemic hit. We are making steady growth now, and now we are looking, have we exceeded those? But that's the state report card uses 3 years of data, so some shifts could be because of that. One of the other things that we want to look at is our course participation. As you know, this is a state statute, does not go into the report card, but it's a report in the report card, it's not part of the calculation. But what we need to look at is what was happening in the 21-22 school year, and in some cases, we had not recovered, and universities were still not holding dual enrollment courses at that time. So some of our numbers are dramatically lower, and those will catch up as we balance out and have more normal instructional formats for multiple years. Reporting. Annually, by January 31st, the school board must publish a Class 1 notice. The most recent performance category rating assigned as part of the school and district report cards. Part of that is being handled this evening. In your packet, you will have not only the district report card, but there was a spreadsheet or list of all of the report cards and their accountability rating for this past year. So this meets part of our reporting requirements. We also need to inform, and as we are informing the public and parents that we have the report cards, and once we are on the website, we will make certain that that communication occurs again. One of the other things, and I'm going to thank Mr. Chasen, who's going to be helping me, because we need to report on the website from the board side, not only a copy of the district report card, but all 153 school report cards need to be linked to our website. So we will have those posted by January 31st. For school reporting, my department, and I want to give a shout out to Annie Knopp and her team in the District and School Improvement Division, they will be working to make certain that every school improvement plan and school report card is loaded onto school websites. And this is what it's going to look like. So you will see it'll have a box that you can click on for the school improvement plan, for the state report card, and also we continue to have to notice parents of educational opportunities in the state. Again, these will all be loaded by January 31st, and we will work with principals on the communications that are required by statute. So, what are our next steps? Continue the implementation of ambitious instruction, accelerating learning. It is critical that we increase our student academic performance through acceleration and scaffolding, because primarily the ways to improve the report card are achievement, growth, and improved attendance. So right now our goal is to increase proficient 5 percentage points and decrease the below basic by 10 percentage point annually. We are also working as part of the strategic plan to ensure rigorous instruction and the implementation of high-quality instructional materials. As I said, attendance and absenteeism big factor in state report cards. It's no longer deduction points, it's actually part of the calculation. But we currently have school-wide strategies in the district that are part of their school improvement plans to implement PBIS attendance, interventions, parent calls, and we are constantly monitoring data. We are also working on the increase of our four-year graduation rate and are conducting closer monitoring of course completion and programming and identifying adults and students needing support to prevent failures. At this point, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Okay, seeing none. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
For the record, Madam Chair, there were no requests to speak on this
Ooh,
item.
thank you, sorry.
The next item is item 6, a report with possible action regarding the 53206 initiative. This is an informational item. Although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present the item?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, this evening we will share an update on the 53206 initiative. This evening I have with me Mr. Maurice Turner, Instructional Leadership Director for the Northwest Region, to present this item. Joining Mr. Turner is North Division's very own constructional teacher, Jean Yanis, accomplished by two students, senior Jason Newsom, as well as a junior, Luis Mascar Jr. So following the presentation, we'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have in regards to this item. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner, take it away.
Okay, got it.
We got some family members in the audience. Take your photos.
Good evening, Chair Gokul Gandhi and members of the SASI committee. Maurice E. Turner, Instructional Leadership Director from the Office of School Administration. It is our pleasure to provide you with an update on the 53206 Promise Partnership Schools Initiative. This evening, our update will be provided by Dr. Nolan and myself. The highlight of our update will be a showcase of the construction course at North Division High School. Joining us this evening is the classroom teacher for the construction course, Mr. Gene Yanis, and two of his phenomenal students at North Division High School. Those students are Mr. Jason Newsom and Mr. Luis Mascoro. The three of them will provide the committee with their personal experiences with the construction course as the instructor, and the students will share some of the skills they are learning from the educational offering at North Division High School and how this new learning may be applied in their futures. The 53206 work is always embedded in the district's 5 priorities for success: increasing academic achievement and accountability, improving district and school culture, developing our staff, ensuring fiscal responsibility and transparency, strengthening communication and collaboration. This evening's update will touch on increasing academic achievement and accountability and improving district and school culture. Here are the demographics that are presently in the cohort of schools in 53206. Currently, we have 1,845 students in the 8 schools. 0.4% of those schools have English language learners. 24.1% are students that receive specialized services, and 94.3% of those students are economically disadvantaged. We apologize for this missing information, but we know that the board is always interested in this. Currently, we have 13 teacher vacancies and 11 paraprofessional vacancies. We continue to collaborate closely with the Human Resources team to address the vacancies in our schools. Next, we have the state report card data from the Department of Public Instruction. This information was recently shared for the 22-23 school year. Here's a comparison of the school's state report cards for the 2021-2022 school year to the most recent data in 2022-23. 50% of the Promise Partnership schools have improved their overall accountability rating over the last year. Of these schools, 2 schools, North Division High School and Gwen T. Jackson, received an accountability rating of meets expectations. Well, oh yeah, we can applaud that. While some schools have the accountability rating that meets few and fails to meet, 80% of these schools improved their overall score, moving them closer to meeting expectation. We will continue to support all of our schools in implementing the district's ambitious instruction plan with fidelity in all of the classrooms in 53206. Tonight, as I mentioned earlier, we will highlight North Division High School. As mentioned earlier, North Division meets expectations on the state report card. This was the first time in more than a decade North Division High School is the only high school in the 53206 Promise Partnership School cohort. North Division High School is committed to providing academic excellence while instilling morals and values that will create individuality by fostering a passion for learning in students. North Division enriches each student's mind, body, and character while encouraging respect and compassion for others. North Division's goal is to become the flagship high school in the 53206 zip code and to create pathways of success for students in the health sciences and information technology fields. Currently, here are the demographics for North Division High School. North Division High School has an enrollment of 430 students, grades 9 through 12. The school's enrollment has experienced positive growth in recent years. 0.7 are English language learners. 27.2% students receive specialized services, and 79.8% are economically disadvantaged. The North Division school community for years longed to bring back a career and technical education course back into the building. The building has technical learning spaces that lay dormant for years. I am proud to say that this is no longer the case at North Division. The community was successful, the school community was successful in bringing the construction class back for the 2023-2024 school year. With the support of the school community as well as the district, construction is back at North Division. In a recent conversation with the administration at North Division, I was told that this course is in very high demand and that 90% of their students have requested to take it. To meet some of the demand by the students for the course, the school will be expanding its programming and opening up more sections second semester. As I stated at the beginning of the update, we are so excited to have 3 representatives from North Division High School. We have Mr. Gene Yanis, first-year construction teacher at North Division High School. He is joined by 2 of his incredible students who are fabulous ambassadors for North. Mr. Jason Newsom is a senior at North. And let me assure you that these 2, and then he's also joined by Mr. Luis Moscoro. Did I get it right? Okay. Who is a junior at North Division High School. I understand that Mr. Jason Newsom sits on the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council representing North Division High School, and Mr. Luis Moscoro, and I got to get this right, the 11th grader at North Division High School, he and his team recently won first place in the Black and Diverse Business Showcase. This showcase was sponsored by the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce and STEAM Village. Luis and his team members were awarded $5,000 for first place. And the team at North defeated the #1 team from Kansas City in STEM Jeopardy, centered around cybersecurity. This was a major victory for the NAF academies at North, as well as the entire school community. The team received a check recently on behalf of North Division. At this time, we will turn the update over to Mr. Yanis. He will be followed by Jason Newsom, followed by Luis Moscoro. After they finish sharing, that will complete our update, and we will be happy to receive any questions or comments from the SASI committee at that time. Mr. Yanis, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Turner. Good evening, Chair Gogandi, and the committee, and members of the committee. I apologize. My name is Mr. Yanis. I am the construction teacher at North Division. I want to update you on the things that we've accomplished and the things that we're going to do second semester. So right now, we're building the first floor of a home. We have built out or framed out 3 bedrooms, kitchen, dining room, and 2 separate hallways. We have constructed or framed out multiple doorways, multiple windows. The reason that we're concentrating more on doors and windows is because it gives the students an avenue to learn about structure. And then that could be a stepping stone to architecture or engineering. So that's one of the reasons why we've done more windows and frames, windows and door frames than are needed, because they kind of lead to other points in construction, like engineering and architecture. Everything that the kids are being taught is code compliant. It's worth doing it right. It's important to teach the kids right. If they want to get into the trades, they have to know the right way to do it. In the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a huge shortfall of skilled tradesmen that this country is going to need. And I think if we can get ahead of this curve, I think it's going to benefit not only North Division, I think it'll benefit MPS. These are jobs that just are going to have to be filled. And I know that we can fill them. So the other thing that we have started learning fairly recently is the basics of wiring. How to wire switches, how to wire outlets, how to wire the switches to the receptacles. We've done this on an open table. We have not started putting the wires into the frame yet. Just last week, we actually began the initial, for lack of a better word, drilling the holes to pull the wire through. That's what we're going to do next semester. We're going to wire them to actual receptacles, actual switches. It's not going to be live, just for safety concerns. After the wiring is done, the students are going to learn about drywall. We've got the drywall there. We're going to teach them how to finish the drywall, how to mud and tape it. I'm also going to teach the kids about masonry. I've been lucky enough to make a contact with the Quikrete Corporation. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a billion-dollar corporation. They have dropped off already 400 pounds of practice mortar. They're dropping off cinder block or CMUs and also brick. So that's with those components, with those supplies, I'm going to be able to teach the kids about mini foundations, how to do a mini foundation, and from there I can teach them about plumbing, because you really can't do plumbing with the framing that we're doing now. You have to be able to get underneath the structure. Along with the mini foundations and the plumbing, it's also going to get a chance to teach the kids about rim joists, floor decking, things like that. I don't mean to get too technical here. The last part of the course, I'm going to teach the kids about floor plans. And usually you would do that first, but I chose to do it kind of backwards because I think once the students are going to learn about floor plans, which can be kind of tedious, they're going to be able to draw them, and they're going to have something invested in it. They've already built the walls. So I feel like they're going to be more invested in learning about the architecture, the floor plans of what we've been building. Also, semester 2, we are going to have visits from the Wallbeck Construction Group. They're coming in January. Shortly after, we're going to have a visitor from the Laborers International Union of North America. They build roads all over Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa. These are jobs that you can build a life on. You know, some of my students, the students that aren't going to college, they can get a home, they can get a pension, they can get things that aren't necessarily afforded to every class of Americans, and we look to change that. There's no reason why these kids can't get pensions and buy homes and get cars. They deserve it, and I think they can work towards it. We also aspire to work with the community through this, through Quikrete and some of the block we're going to get. You know, I drive to work every day through the neighborhood in North Division. I see a lot of empty lots. There's no reason why we can't put some permanent garden beds in there, get some fresh produce. You know, the students are fully capable of building that. I know it's a big idea, but it has to start. And I think we hope to work with the city of Milwaukee, work with our local aldermen to make that happen. So I've reached out to them already, and hopefully that comes to fruition. If not next year, then in the coming years. And, you know, I just want to say real quick about the kids at North Division. They are smart, like resourceful kids. They're amazing kids. The stuff that they come and tell me, and then to deal with going to class every day. I mean, these are great, amazing kids. And I wouldn't even have the opportunity to teach these kids if there wasn't already a culture being laid down, a foundation being laid down, and that's being laid down by Principal McCord, by my Vice Principal Bradford. They've really helped create this culture of North Division. You know, North Division is just a big ball of potential. You know, our phrase this year is, you know, rewriting the narrative, changing the narrative, and yeah, we're doing it, and it's going to continue to go. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of great kids, and I know more kids are going to be drawn here, and there's no reason why North Division can't have a top construction program. There's no reason North Division can't have a destination construction program. Once we start getting these kids jobs, once we start getting these kids, you know, lifelong opportunities that they're going to talk about with their family and share with their family. Yeah, I think that is definitely my goal, and I know it is achievable. Lastly, I would like to thank Mr. Turner. I would like to thank Principal McCord, Vice Principal Bradford. I would like to thank the two gentlemen who hired me. Michael Harris was instrumental in hiring me, and Eric Radomski was also there. They've both been really great. Everybody I've worked with in North Division, and I'd like to thank the students too. Honestly, the students are, you know, they're the ones that are learning. They're the ones that are fighting through everything, and they enjoy it. They enjoy it. And lastly, I don't want to take too much time. One of the best things every time I ask my students, what are you going to do when you graduate? There's a good number of them that say, I want to do construction, you know, and maybe after I expose them to masonry and electric and concrete, they're going to say, I want to do concrete. I want to do masonry. I want to do electric, you know, and just giving them something to hold on to. For those that aren't going to college, I think that they deserve everything else that we have. So thank you very much.
Chair Gogo Gandhi and members of the SASI committee, Jason Newsom, Senior North Division High School. So far in Mr. Giannis's course, I've learned how to build walls, how to frame doors and windows, and just the simple basics of how to build a house. I've also learned the basics of how to use certain construction tools, as in the chop saw, the drills, and things of that nature. Outside of that, Mr. Giannis has also made it a very great experience for me personally. Outside of just construction, it's a lot of time to talk, so you get a lot of great advice about life after high school and how possible careers you can go into. And Mr. Giannis also helped me discover that maybe I might be interested in trades and things outside of a college major. So I've decided that I will attend MATC to become an electrician, and hopefully, I got a little nervous, my bad, in hopes to become an electrician. Mr. Giannis's course has also helped me discover like just simple basics of like how to act in like my bad, on a construction site, and also just like a work environment is very serious, but also there to crack jokes and give great advice, like I said. Okay, so that's it. Sorry.
You did great.
Chair Gokul Gandhi and members of the SASI committee, Luis Mascorro, Junior, North Division High School. I'm also here to talk about the construction class. So initially, or actually my dream is to go to West Point, the military academy. Before I started the construction class, I never really thought about trades and I never really know much about them until I met Mr. Giannis, and he excited like a new passion in me and like a new hobby. Like I enjoy building things with my hands and I like having hands-on experiences, and in his construction class we're always doing something. There's always something to do, we're always building, and we're always learning something new. By far, it's like my most favorite class of school. Like it's the main reason why I go to school is because like I love construction. He's taught me the basic skills. Like he's taught me how to read a ruler, read a measuring tape, know how to like all the cool terms that the construction guys use. I know how to safely space studs and like make a house safe. Really, like he really teaches us like the essential things that like we really need. I've learned how to use saws, which at first were really scary, but like after I got to learn how to use them, they weren't too bad. And after I'm done serving in the military, I plan to retire and like probably build and plan out my own dream mansion or something. Like I have the skills to do that now because of him, and I will be forever grateful. And maybe build my kids like a little playhouse. So, thank you.
That ends our presentation, but also would like to recognize the parents that have come out tonight. So thank you for being here. Mr. McCoy, principal, as well as Ms. Bradford, the assistant principal that's here. So thank you all for being here.
Dr. Posley, maybe we can get you to stand with the students right here so their parents can snap a little photo of you and the kids, if you want to. Now I'm imposing. But I will ask my committee members any comments or questions they might have. Yes, Director O'Halloran.
Thank you so much,
You're
Chair
so
Gokul
welcome.
Gandhi. First of all, I just want to thank the students for
Yes.
for speaking today. I don't know if you can tell by the huge grin on my face, but I seriously enjoyed you sharing your experience and your passion. Every student kind of has a different thing that brings them to school, and I think it's really critical that we, as board members and administrators and teachers, figure it out, like what brings you to school. And so I'm really glad that we could figure that out and that we were able to fill that need. I wanted to ask just really 3 questions. For Mr. Giannis, I would love to hear, I know I have to direct my questions to the chair, so I'm going to ask Director Gokul Gandhi if she can ask you. What is your background? How did you come to us? Because I recall speaking with a principal at a school that used to have a fantastic wood shop, and they said, yeah, the kids want, to hear more about this and learn more about it, but we can't find any of the qualified certified instructors. And so I was wondering, what your background is, and are there more of you, and how do we, recruit more people to teach our young students?
Mr. Giannis. I'm not going to repeat that.
Thank you, Chair Gokul Gandhi. You want me to speak about myself? I love talking about myself, so that is not a problem. No, so both my parents are teachers. When I was about 9 years old, my father started buying real estate, started buying rental homes, flipping properties. I went to UWM, but after that, I got involved in the business of flipping properties. We've got properties in Waukegan, Kenosha. So that's how I got to know so much. My grandfather on my mom's side was a carpenter. My uncle, my mom's brother, was a master cement mason. The first job I had was breaking up a driveway. I was 12 years old, $2.50 an hour, and I didn't always get paid if I didn't do a good job. And I thought, my dad was being hard on me, but I realized he was teaching me how to do things the right way. As far as finding more of me, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I always had a passion for teaching. I'm 46 years. I just turned 47 last week.
Okay.
I got into it late in life. I'm lucky enough to get into it, to be able to get into it. That's how I know what I know, through my uncle, who's a master cement mason, and my grandfather, who was a carpenter. But they could do anything. They all built their own homes. So that's where my knowledge comes from.
Director O'Halloran.
Thank you for that background. And I do think it's really important. We've seen the way that, like, when you talk about building to code, how important that is in our city, where we've had so many house fires and we've lost children and grandparents and loved ones. And so I do think that's really important, and I thank you for that. I was wondering, is the construction class, is this a NAF academy, or is it in the same way that Bayview, we have like hospitality and then we have engineering, is this a construction NAF academy, or is it part of like a class within a different academy?
Administration.
Chair Gokul Gandhi and Director O'Halloran, the construction course is part of building those NAF Academy offerings, and so it's part of the NAF Academies. The principal and the learning teams there, as I mentioned in the update, in the talking points, always wanted to bring back life to that construction lab, and kind of the NAF focus has supported that in being able to come into a reality. And so it's part of those NAF academies.
And you had one last question?
One last question. So I know a lot of us have connections with like the Milwaukee Area Labor Council. We have different connections with building trades. Do you have a need for, I know you said you're having a visit from different organizations, different unions. You need more connections. Is there a way that the board can support you with this? Because obviously you're producing great results.
Administration.
I'll take it. Director Gokul Gandhi and Director O'Halloran, or Chair Gokul Gandhi, Director O'Halloran, Maurice Turner, Instructional Leadership Director with the Office of School Administration. That has been a conversation that we've been having, and we definitely want to explore any and all partnerships that can support this program at North Division High School, and so that will be a topic of conversation for this school year, and we'll see how we can best do that. But any leads that you can provide us, we'll definitely follow them, so thank you.
I know when I was at Bradley Tech, we had an industry liaison, and that was really helpful to do career fairs, so wondering if we can replicate the same thing at North Division. Okay. Director Leonard, did you have anything?
So first of all, great work. Both of you articulated extremely well, so you have some actual real leadership qualities. So I want to say that right away, right from the start. So from when I first got elected on, I understand the need to diversify what we offer our students. There's no mystery to that. And it's good to see the difference from 3 years ago to now on how much we've expanded both our construction trades and all other aspects of what we're doing in NPS. And my hat is off to you. Keep up the great work. I'm excited about it. I do have to ask one question, Mr. Turner. Compared to vacancies this year to last year, what are they like?
Administration.
Chair Gogo Gandhi, Director Leonard, Maurice Turner, Instructional Leadership Director out of the Office of School Administration. Vacancies have decreased in the paraprofessionals. I believe that we are down to, let me check my notes so I don't misspeak. 11 currently in our cohort of schools. And so teacher vacancies, I believe, have remained the same, and so we continue to work with human resources regarding that. Attending recruitment fairs with human resources, and just making sure that we put those vacancies out there and really highlighting how great of a place it is to work with our 53206 Promise Partnership schools. So they're relatively really close to last year.
Thank you. That's good.
Any follow-up?
No follow-up.
Great. You guys did awesome today. Really lovely to hear from so many students tonight. Let's give them another round of applause. Okay, he's going to take me up on that picture offer. I think it's because I said it out loud. Do any members of the public wish to make any comments?
We have no request to speak on this item, Madam Chair.
Great. So we'll just give everyone a minute here to shake some hands, take some pictures. Proud parents in the audience. Mr. O's in the back. I like this.
The power. Don't let it go to your head.
Do you have any soapboxes you wanted to give to us while we're waiting?
No, no rant.
Okay. Yeah, come on up. Woo! We got a principal in the house.
Don't you think I could host a radio show?
Madam Chair, just to
yes
keep the sound
Yeah,
going.
let's keep the sound
I'm just
going.
going to advise you that there are 2 more items on tonight's agenda.
Yes, so we got to go quickly. Take those pictures. Snap, snap, snap. I don't know if
May
that's what you were
also
saying.
remind the public that the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel will be meeting next Tuesday at 5:30 here in the auditorium.
Wow. Tune in for that. It's going to be exciting, per usual. Okay, we got some movement. Dr. Posley's back in his seat. Mr. Turner's handing me a flyer. Okay, Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item 7, a report with possible action regarding ambitious instruction. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Great. Administration, would you please present the item?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, the item before you in regarding the ambitious instruction plan will be presented by Dr. Felicia Sappho, Senior Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Following the presentation of this report, we will be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Dr. Sappho?
Good evening.
It's on. Yeah, you're good.
Good evening, Chair Gogo Gandhi and members of the committee. Felicia Saffold, Senior Director of Curriculum and Instruction. I am happy to come before you tonight to report out some great things that are happening in academics through our Ambitious Instruction academic plan. As always, our work is aligned to the 5 priorities of success, and tonight my focus is on how we are increasing academic achievement and accountability. For the past several years, we have had a focus on ambitious instruction. This academic framework has a focus on formative practices, explicit instruction, and student engagement. During the 21-22 school year, we took a close look at each lever and cross-curricular application. We united the district with common language and made sure that ambitious instruction was the emphasis in all academic areas. During the 22-23 school year, we went deeper into the use of district materials, grade-level instruction, and scaffolding. And during the 23-24 school year, our focus is on collaborative practices. In particular, how professional learning communities can be used to improve teaching skills and the academic performance of students. We are assisting leaders in creating these cultures for learning and how to use their school support teachers to guide this work. Ambitious instruction is the vehicle for achieving the strategic plan goals for student achievement. There are 3 areas of focus that came out of the strategic planning work groups and community feedback sessions. They are students completing rigorous work, students feeling emotionally and physically safe at school, and students experiencing inclusive classrooms. Throughout the Office of Academics, we have aligned our work to unpack these targets for the various curricular areas and have created intentional plans to train teachers and leaders, monitor implementation in schools, collect data, and measure results. As we look at a year of impact, we are intentionally monitoring our plans and assessing both classroom data and teacher practice data. As was mentioned earlier, DPI just released the school report card in November, and it has announced that Milwaukee Public Schools has moved from meet few expectations to meets expectations. The report card places a heavy emphasis on growth, and we believe the growth that has been acknowledged by the state is a direct result of the work that we are doing with ambitious instruction and the intentionality of that work. For the rest of this presentation, I will point out specific examples of the work we have done that attributes to the impact that we are having with student growth. Across the Office of Academics, we have been diligent about 3 areas of focus. They include measurable department goals, the use of high-quality instructional materials, and efforts to support implementation. All of the academic departments approached our goal setting and data collection with purpose and intention. Through clearly defined objectives and a collective commitment to meaningful data collection and analysis, we are advancing our commitment to meeting the needs of all learners. The student data was reviewed during these first months to determine the type of training that would promote student achievement. It was decided that new textbook adoptions, the math pilot and writing, Tier 2 and 3 interventions, and PLC work featuring ambitious instruction would be the focus of adult professional learning in Q1. The foundation was set for student achievement. Instruction in each content area launches from high-quality instructional materials. Materials were carefully selected based on their alignment to standards, culturally responsive practices, and support for differentiated and inclusive instructional strategies. Finally, we know that if high-quality instructional materials are to be impactful, they must be implemented by our teachers. Our instructional coaches are the key to ensuring that all students have equitable access to high-quality instructional materials every day. Our coaches' cutting-edge content and pedagogical expertise help teachers implement our materials in developmentally appropriate ways to maximize student learning and achievement. District walkthroughs allow us to monitor the fidelity of use as well as pacing and support schools and teachers to stay within pacing while meeting and advancing the learning of every student. From September through November of this school year, district staff completed over 4,400 classroom visits. About half of the walks conducted were in the core content areas of reading and mathematics. This is very significant because we have new curricula in several of the content areas. Therefore, we collected data in order to provide targeted coaching and support for implementation. The sheer number of these visits in a short amount of time, 4,433, has been very informative in fine-tuning professional development for teachers and providing targeted coaching support. We know it's not enough to just collect the data, so in the next slides, I will share the impact that ambitious instruction has had on teaching and learning in our classrooms. We continue to focus on high-quality instructional materials, implementation of the curriculum, and explicit instruction for all content areas. Our content area specialists and coaches have focused on curriculum use. Our Cycle 1 walkthrough data results show that teachers and students are engaging with the materials and the resources, and instruction taking place in classroom is aligned to grade level standards. This is so powerful because, for example, in mathematics, this is the first year of implementation of a new curriculum for 35 CSI schools. It is often difficult for teachers to make a shift to fully commit to new materials and lessons right away. However, in addition to increased use of district-adopted, standard-aligned materials and resources, there has been a significant increase in students completing grade-level coursework, common assessments, and CABs, classroom assessments based on standards. CABs usage has increased tremendously throughout the district. As we help teachers check for student understanding and find creative ways for students to demonstrate their learning, we know that we will see an impact in student achievement. Similar results can be shared in writing. We adopted and implemented a comprehensive handwriting and spelling curriculum across kindergarten through 5th grade this year, and the walkthrough data shows that teachers are using the curriculum. Out of visits to 89 schools, 93% of the classrooms within those schools were using the new curriculum to fidelity. Knowing that schools are using the high equity, high quality, standards aligned materials that we have selected for them will make a difference in the rigor expected at each grade level and the experiences students have in teaching and learning. We are pleased with the results and impact from Cycle 1, and we will continue to collect data, measure the impact, and adjust coaching and professional development plans to meet the needs of our staff. When teachers provide active learning experiences using digital tools such as Nearpod, where every student can participate, students are doing the thinking and deepening their understanding of content. We have pushed the usage of these tools as they also assist our most sensitive populations, such as special education students, EL learners, and at-risk students. Some of these tools have given students the opportunity to explore content at the same pace and level of their general education peers. This graph shows how our students' use of engaging instructional technologies has increased significantly since last year. More students are using creativity tools like Adobe Express and Book Creator. For example, nearly 24,000 students engaged in Nearpod activity in October of this year versus 12,000 students who had used it in October of last year. This is a 200% growth in usage. Again, student engagement is a strong predictor of student achievement. So this is critical. This is a critical area that we are addressing through ambitious instruction. We have put a lot of focus on early childhood the last few years, and we have seen the impact of their coaching work in reaching students. More than 500 PK to grade 2 teachers from 101 MPS schools have attended counting collections training, led by the early childhood team since January 2023. Of those buildings, 91% have at least 2 or more teachers in the building trained. Out of the 101 schools, 65 schools are currently implementing counting collections. That number includes 35 of our CSI schools. Training for teachers new to counting collections, as well as experienced teachers, continues throughout the 2023-24 school year. Why is this important to note? In classrooms that are implementing counting collections, 80% of students are meeting grade level expectations on the counting trajectory. This is instructional practice that we are pleased to see being implemented throughout the district. In addition, through coaching, our early childhood teachers have improved their literacy and math interactions during playtime. After 4 weeks, participating teachers surpassed the threshold for improved child outcomes on the Early Childhood Environmental Rating Scale. This fall, students from those classrooms outperformed last year's K-5 students on Brigance in social emotional rating. They went from a 49% to a 65%, and in language development from 57% to 60%. Research shows that when young children have access to high-quality play and opportunities to solve meaningful math problems, they develop stronger social, language, and cognitive skills that support their academic learning through third grade. Early childhood continues to promote social-emotional learning through coaching and training on the use of SEL components in the Frog Street curriculum. Cycle 1 coaching data shows increased use of safekeeper and kindness routines in classrooms. And currently, 20 teachers are midway through a Teacher Institute series on conscious discipline in Frog Street, with plans to launch a second cohort for administrators and teachers in February. Through intentionality of our work, we are making a difference in instruction for our earliest learners. In closing, while we can confidently celebrate the progress that we see in schools for Cycle 1, we will continue to focus on targeted support to monitor instruction and help close the gap. We will continue to be intentional about monitoring student achievement in incremental steps, encouraging and supporting collaborative practices, enhancing professional development, and providing specific coaching and support for all stakeholders that will help us see significant student growth over time. During the next cycles, our curriculum specialists, coaches, and teacher leaders will observe in the content areas to determine necessary support to model and provide feedback, and facilitate professional learning focused on mastery and utilization of district resources. By focusing our efforts on the levers of ambitious instruction, formative practices, explicit instruction, and engagement, it is our mission to positively impact teaching and learning in MPS and to continue to be recognized by the state as a school district that meets expectations. Eventually, as we continue to make incremental progress, we would like to be able to report in the very near future that MPS is a district that exceeds expectations. Thank you. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do committee members wish to ask questions or make comments? Okay. Do any members of the public wish to make comments or ask questions?
We have no request to speak on this item, Madam Chair.
Great. I'll just say, I love the counting collections program. It's so great, and that's just really wonderful data. Okay, Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item 8, a report with possible action on the regional showcase, the Southwest Region. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present the item?
Madam Chair and members of the committee, it gives me great pleasure this evening to introduce our regional showcase featuring the Southwest Region this month. I have with me Mr. Eduardo Galvan, Regional Superintendent for the Southwest Region, and Principal Marco Rivanovich from View Elementary School. We look forward to your feedback and any questions that you may have after the presentation. So without further delay, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Galvan. Please present the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Posley. Good evening, Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, and our wonderful audience, Dr. Gamblin and Mrs. Radmanovich back there. Thank you for being here. I'm Eduardo Galvan, Regional Superintendent of the Southwest Region. It is an honor to be presenting to you today, and we're going to share some of the wonderful things that are happening in the great Southwest Region. I know we like saying ours is the best, but we're all the best, and the region is great. So Southwest Region is here. As I mentioned, I'm Eduardo Galvan. I'm one member of a team that supports our schools. Excuse me. With me in that support is Dr. Gamblin, the ILD, Mr. Radmanovich, all the members of all 26 schools, all the principals, all the engineers, the cooks, the teachers, the students, the families. They're all part of our Southwest team, and it is an honor to be able to represent what we're doing in the Southwest today. And again, as I mentioned, with me today is Marco Radmanovich, Assistant Principal at Escuela View. So as always, our district and our schools are driven by the 5 priorities for success. In the Southwest Region, we constantly refer to these priorities as we chart our path to move forward for increasing outcomes for all of our students. A little bit about our schools. So this graph just demonstrates all the different programs that we have available to students and families in the Southwest Region. We have dual language and bilingual, arts, STEAM and STEM schools, green schools, community schools, traditional schools, academic specialty. Again, ALBA is one of those that was here earlier today as a charter school, but they're all listed there. In addition, all of these are opportunities that all our families have. As you can see, if it's not offered in the Southwest, it's because it's not available or we don't know about it yet. So we're proud to say that anything that our families want are available in the Southwest schools. We have currently 12,941 students in 26 schools. And I just wanted to point out that that number is up. Since Third Friday, we've added, I'm sorry, I have it right here, 365 students, and we're getting more and more each and every day. So that just shows that our families, as they come to us from different parts of the world, different parts of the city, they're choosing MPS and they're choosing the Southwest region. So we're very proud of them. Again, we also have 22.6% special education students, 37.8% English language learners, and 78.1% economically disadvantaged. Among those students, we also have 69.5 Hispanic, 12.5 Black or African American, 7.4% white, 6.6% Asian, and then others as well. So it's a diverse community that we serve. This just outlines our attendance. We're very proud that our attendance is growing each year, and we're approaching our pre-pandemic levels. 94.6 we were at pre-pandemic. We're up to 91.3, so we're steadily making gains. And those are through the efforts of all our schools, employing all the tools that the district has given us, working with families to make sure we are coding attendance correctly, PBIS, team level, school level teams, social workers, all guidance counselors are all involved in this process to make sure our families know that we need their children in school each and every day. In addition, our historical suspension rate is lower than it has been, and we're on track to come in lower than we were last year. Again, we do everything within our power to make sure our students learn what is appropriate behavior, and when they don't know that, it's our job to teach them that and work within our community and make sure we have the resources to do that. And we're very proud of the work that we've been doing in that area to help create a warm and a welcoming environment. In terms of the school report card, this chart, kind of multicolored here, kind of outlines where our schools are in terms of the school report card. Compared to last year, we had 4 schools improve their designation, 5 went down, 16 remained the same. 1 school, AAL, did move from the alternative accountability measure to exceeds expectations. So we're very proud of what our schools have been able to do. And we're equally proud of the things that are not measured by the state report card. Things like having caring and safe school communities, having staff that care about students and families they serve, and having wonderful, caring, and intelligent students and the families that support them as our partners in education. Just a little bit about Escuela View. As you can see there, 697 students, 91.8% Hispanic, 2% white, 5.3% African American, and then others there. As I mentioned, 22.5% students with disabilities, and 58% English language students, English language learners. Attendance is 91.3. It's up from last year, and suspension rate is almost identical to what it was last year. I'd also like now to turn it over to Mr. Radmanovich, the principal at View School. Mr. Radmanovich is a 44-year veteran of MPS in various roles, many things. He'd be happy to share with you if you ever want to know. Just give him a call. but some of those include coach, safety assistant, paraprofessional, special education teacher, assistant principal at View School for 5 years, and most recently the principal for the last 6 years. And it's a great pleasure and honor to work alongside him and the families at View and in the Southwest region. Mr. Radmanovich.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Galvan. Chair Gokul Gandhi, members of the committee, Dr. Posley, members of the administration, Marko Radmanovich, proud principal of Escuela View. First and foremost, we are extremely honored to have a significant number of parents who were previously students at View, who now have their children enrolled at View. On an interesting note, Berta Rodriguez, our current assistant principal, and all of her siblings are former View students who have all enrolled their children at View. Not only does View appeal to former students as a school of choice for their children, but also to suburban parents who choose to transport their children to View. View currently has students who are residents of Brown Deer, West Allis, Oak Creek, and soon we'll even have students from Waukesha County. We grow from within, meaning we have designed, developed, promoted, and executed a paraprofessional pipeline and career launch pad. We are proud to share that we currently have 7 teachers who were at one time previous paraprofessionals at View. In addition, we work with substitute teachers to identify teacher talent, and we currently have 2 former long-term View substitute teachers on our teaching staff. Additionally, there are 5 View paraprofessionals, former paraprofessionals that is, working in other schools in the district, and 1 who has now become an assistant principal at Rufus King. We're proud to truly move to action the district vision of start, stay, and succeed at View or elsewhere in the district. I'm proud to say, as you heard, I'm a product of that pipeline. Our community's success is predicated upon staff collaboration and shared leadership in order to improve. When a problem arises, our staff is known to voluntarily come together and problem solve. Everyone's voice is valued and heard. For example, when we identified a need to improve our school culture to help students establish relationships, our staff worked together to create Family Day, where classroom teachers establish classroom families with students from other classrooms. Our classroom families have evolved over time to include higher and lower grade level partner classrooms that engage together in Family Day activities that have grown into larger collaborations throughout the balance of the month. Such collaborations include younger and older students reading to each other and supportive relationships where students who are having a difficult moment in their grade level classroom now having another classroom parent and family for support. Staff retention, start, stay, succeed, and retire from View. What a beautiful career journey. Our openings are almost always attributed to retirement or a life change, and we have approximately 700 students and approximately 80 staff members with very low mobility. We are MPS's first bilingual school, and we are proud of our heritage. We work hard to sustain and improve our program by working closely with MPS's bilingual and ESL departments to provide ongoing professional development in biliteracy instruction to our staff. Besides providing weekly instruction in physical education, art, and music to our students, View specialists regularly collaborate together to produce musical productions, such as the annual Holiday and Mother's Day programs. We are also fortunate to have a complement of full-time support staff. Our school social worker, counselor, and psychologist work closely together to support our students when they are in need, and also work with our community partners, such as the Optimist Club and Big Brothers Big Sisters, to do so as well. In addition to being a first in bilingual schools, we are also among the district's first PLTW schools. To continue that tradition, a growing number of our teachers have earned Project Lead the Way certification through the support of Rockwell Automation and include PLTW in curricular integration that helps to build vital career skills while doing so. For instance, Laura Lofton, our art specialist, nurtures student creativity and problem-solving skills when she incorporates PLTW principles within project-based learning opportunities for VIU students. Escuela VIU is fortunate to have numerous and varied community partnerships to help provide a rich learning experience for our students. Rockwell Automation is VIU's primary partner and benefactor, and as such, financially supports endeavors such as professional development for teachers, student learning programs, and family events. A sampling of our many other partnerships include Arts at Large, Marquette University, Hunger Task Force, Sharp Literacy, and the Skylight Opera. VIU was very honored recently to have a 5-teacher team from our bilingual and ESL departments selected to present at La Cosecha, the prestigious National Dual Language Conference in New Mexico. Out of over 350 submissions, VIU's team was chosen to present. This same team was selected to present at the Wisconsin State Bilingual Conference, WIABE, in April of this year. They put Escuela VIU and MPS on a national stage, and they truly made us MPS proud. Unique opportunities. VIU offers many unique opportunities for its students and families. For example, VIU has many family events such as a monthly parent breakfast and this week's parent participation days in physical education class, as well as Santa Night that is taking place as we speak. In addition to offering a rich variety of activities, our Boys and Girls Club CLC offers both before and after school care, which meets a critical need for many of our parents who are not able to change their work schedules when VIU changed from an early start to late start school, thus enabling their children to remain at VIU. In addition to participating in reading interventions with their classroom teachers, kindergarten through 3rd grade students requiring extra support in reading receive twice weekly individualized tutoring sessions with Forward Scholar tutors. Our kindergarten through 3rd grade students needing more extensive reading support receive daily tutoring from Wisconsin Reading Corps tutors. And Wisconsin Reading Corps tutors is an example of support from Rockwell Automation, because it wouldn't be possible without them, as Rockwell Automation finances their salaries. This coming summer, a high-tech makerspace will be constructed at VIU, which will provide our students with a dedicated space within which to engage in project-based learning that will incorporate the visual arts, creativity, problem-solving, and PLTW integration. A generous grant by Rockwell Automation will provide cutting-edge technology for VIU's makerspace. As well, VIU's Gethel Library will be upgraded into a state-of-the-art media center during the upcoming summer that will be paid for through ESSER funds and Rockwell Automation's support. VIU students have a number of opportunities to engage in the performing arts, including our Cantos folkloric dancers, the UWM String Academy, and our annual Mother's Day program, to name a few. The annual 5th grade spring camping trip is a much anticipated rite of passage for all of VIU's 5th graders and helps them develop self-responsibility as they prepare for middle school in the coming fall. Our biannual middle school trip to Washington, D.C. allows our students a wonderful opportunity to visit important government offices, historic sites, and national museums. And fundraising opportunities over the course of 2 years make the trip attainable to all interested students. We are delighted to provide our students with numerous sports and extracurricular activities, including football, basketball, soccer, cheerleading, track, softball, volleyball, drama club, chess club, Optimist Club, student council, and the spelling team. This extensive list of offerings only continues to grow. VIU's robotics team allows students who have developed a heightened interest in engineering during their PLTW classes an opportunity to build robots and compete in regional competitions. VIU is also proud to offer a full-day bilingual Head Start program for 3-year-old students. Through our partnership with South Division High School, we offer an algebra class for our 8th grade students with the opportunity to earn high school credit, thus enabling them to take more advanced mathematics courses in high school. And for our interested parents, we are fortunate to be able to offer twice weekly English as a second language classes. While you've heard just a little bit about some of the many things that make Escuela VIU a special place, what really makes VIU exceptional and makes it a community is the amazing people, the students, staff, parents, and community partners. It is them working together that makes all of the aforementioned possible. Thank you very much.
Director Gokogandi, members of the committee, that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Okay, Director Leonard.
So View was the first school that I subbed at decades ago. They thought I said bilingual, and I think they got it mixed up. I remember being in the classroom, and I suddenly realized I'm in trouble. I'm here for a month. So, and I don't know if, I would doubt that Nilda was the para that was very tough on me, and she gave me very quick lessons on the basic Spanish to get through the day. So anyway, I've always been impressed with the school. Thank you for the presentation. I know you have just a book full of things that go on there, but it's such a exciting thing to see generational action going out of school. So it almost gives it like a whole function of all of its own when you go to View School. You see so many people that have been there that were raised there, literally raised at that school. So keep up the great work. Appreciate it. You definitely make us MPS proud. There's no question about it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, go ahead, Director Halloran.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I have honestly just never heard anything but fantastic things about Escuela View. And it's easy after seeing this presentation to understand why everybody has such favorable things to say about the school. I'll just say my husband works at Rockwell Automation, and he very rarely wants me to explain what goes on at committee meetings, but tonight I'm really excited to go back and share this great information, because I don't think that, a lot of the people that work at Rockwell might not understand exactly how important, their support is for Milwaukee Public Schools, specifically with Escuela View, and he has a couple staff members that work in Colombia, and he gets to go to Colombia pretty frequently. They don't always get to come here, but when they do, I hope that they can come and visit Escuela View and see all this really great work, and know that, the work that they're doing is supporting students here, and help build that connection as well. So thank you so much for your work and your leadership, and all of the, all the members out in the audience that are doing this important work as well. Thank you.
Okay, I'll tell one quick story, because I did work at Rockwell Automation and worked very closely with your students, and it's really fun to see both of you together like this, because that's what the situation was. But we used to welcome many of your students to Engineers Week, and once I was actually shepherding your young girls around, and I ran into a wall in front of your 6th grade students, and they thought it was the funniest thing in the whole world. But I will tell you how sweet your kids are. A week later, they sent me thank you notes, and on the inside, all of them said, "Miss Julie, we hope you've recovered from your running into a wall." And it was me with a Band-Aid over my head, and I have those thank you notes till date, because it has left such an impression on me. And so I have really fond memories of being at View and hosting your students at View, and every time just their brilliance and their questions and their interest in what we do at Rockwell was just so lovely. And so I just have really fond memories of your students and your leadership really during that time. So thank you very much. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments on this item?
We have no speaker requests for this item, Madam Chair.
All right, great. Well, that was the last item on this meeting's agenda, and there being no further business before the committee,